If you're coming to Barcelona this November 2025, in this video, I'm going to be breaking down the best things that are going on throughout the month of November. But these aren't going to be the big things, the big monuments that you can go and see throughout the entire year. These are things that are just taking place in November that'll make sure that you have the best time that you possibly can while you're in town. If you're looking for any of those other things, remember that you can always download my Patrick Guide to Barcelona, which is 15 years of knowledge of me living and experiencing, exploring the city, everything that I know put into one guide, including a map with all sorts of recommendations for the best food to have. You can use the QR code right here or click that link below to make sure you get it, and you'll have everything you need ahead of your trip. But in this video, we're gonna be focusing on that November. And I think a lot of people are always worried about what November has in store for them when they come here. It is outside of that high tourist season, which is great for a lot of travelers, but many people outside of that summer season really get worried that there won't be much to do. And let me tell you that November is still a great time to come. Even last year, there were still a lot of people that were surprised with how many people were in the city. There's always people around in Barcelona, and despite it not being the high season, it's still a time where you can spend a lot of your time and most of your day outside enjoying the sun. The temperatures are a little different. You're not gonna be going over and getting into the water, hanging out at the beach, but what that does is that it allows you to see Barcelona at a completely different angle. You get to take it in much more like a local and see what you can do around the city. But like I said, those temperatures are gonna be around 18 of a high on that average, which is really gonna be about 65 degrees Fahrenheit, meaning that throughout the day, you can be out onto those terraces and having a great time. I say it in every single video, and I really do mean it. Make sure you bring those layers. Obviously, the morning and the evening are gonna be very different in terms of those temperatures, much cooler, so you are gonna wanna have your jackets, pants, but you can still have those sunglasses, walk around, and really take everything in. So let's get into what the best things are around in November in Barcelona. As we do every year, November starts off right away with the first public holiday. November 1st being a Saturday this year might be a little different, where you won't see that long holiday weekend. You might not see a lot of people who get off work or off school going out to maybe their second residences. So you will have a different style for Tots Sants, Todos los Santos, All Saints Day, which is the much bigger holiday than Halloween. Tots Sants is a celebration of the dead, the deceased, and a lot of times when it's during the week, what I always say is you're not gonna see a lot of changes in the city, a lot of things shut down, or people just out and about. More than anything, it is a day that people usually stay home with their families and kind of celebrate there. But because it is a Saturday, there might be a little bit more movement. One of the things that always happens is you get a lot of people going over to the different cemeteries, maybe leaving some flowers, cleaning up some of those graves. And two of the biggest cemeteries all around Barcelona are over on Montjuïc and over in the Poblenou. Both of those have some incredible tombs that you can go over and see. Each of them have some cultural roots or some famous people who have been buried there. And there are even some tours that you might be able to take through some of those cemeteries if you want to get into the spirit of the holiday. But like I said, it is much more of a family day. The other thing, apart from that main holiday, we always call it La Castañada. La Castañada is a little bit more of just one day, kind of more of a season, where you're gonna start to see a lot of chestnuts. You're gonna see a lot of roasted sweet potatoes being sold in the street in a lot of the different restaurants or bakeries, but a lot of times what you're gonna see are panayets in all of those different bakeries, and it's something that you need to try out while you're here. On November 1st, a lot of people will actually make those panayets, which is usually some sort of base of marzipan and some sort of topping. A lot of times pine nuts are probably the most common that you're gonna see, but you could get some chocolate, cocoa, all sorts of different flavors and things, but that is one thing that you will see towards the end of October, if you're here a few days before, and definitely into those first couple months of November. La Castañada is a really big part of the fall here in Catalonia, and the easiest way to take part of it is to eat some of the sweets. And on that first weekend of November, on the 1st and the 2nd, you've got all those food market in town for its second edition this 2025. They already had one in April, which was a lot of fun, and they're going to be repeating at the Mall de la Fusta, which is just outside of that old port in Barcelona, where they've got a bunch of different food stands set up. But it's not just the different food stands, it's also different music and events and things. But the whole idea is about community coming together, networking, and just really connecting. And it's a really fun event that you won't want to miss. And very early on in the month, on the 2nd of November, Barca will be hosting Elche. We have the first of 3 different opportunities that you'll have over the month to catch a game for El Barça. Now, I'm not going to get into this video about where they're going to be playing. At the time of recording, they're still debating that and trying to figure it all out. But on the 2nd, they will be hosting Elche. On the 23rd, they've got Athletic Club. And on the 30th of the month, you've got Alaves. So you've got 3 different chances to see Barcelona. And if you want to get tickets, what I always recommend is going directly to the Football Club Barcelona website and taking care of everything right over there. If you're not in town for one of those Barca games and you still want to catch a match, you can get over to the other side of town and check out the Espanyol games. You've got 2 options to see Espanyol play at home in November. The first is on the 9th against Villarreal, and the second is on November 23rd against Sevilla. Now remember, when I give these dates, it is always the weekend, but it could be either the Saturday, the Sunday, and sometimes even the Friday game or the Monday night game. So a couple weeks before all of these games take place, you have the defined hours and the defined days, so you'll know and have a better idea of when you can catch them. While it is November, there's always something going on in Barcelona, and while the city is really well known for all of the tourism that comes in throughout the year, there's also a lot of different conferences. It seems like every single week, every month, you've got some sort of conference going on where people from all around the world are coming in. This month, from the 4th to the 6th, you might notice more people in town. You've got not only the Smart Expo World Congress, but the Tomorrow Mobility Congress taking place over those days. Now, this is not always something that I recommend in the videos or even put in the videos, because I think that you might want to get over and check it out. But if you do, you've got that option. Why I add these in is because, like I said, you might notice that there's more people in the city. Or if you're planning right now, you might notice that some of the hotels, the prices start to go up a little bit more. So don't be surprised when you get in or when you're making those reservations if they tend to be a little bit more expensive, or while you're here, if you see that there are less restaurants available or even less taxis around in the city. Know that there's always some sort of conference going on in Barcelona in November. Remember, it's from the 4th to the 6th. Immediately following those conferences, we've got a book festival in town. From November 5th to the 9th, you've got Festival 42. This is the Barcelona Fantastic Genre Festival, which is a non-realistic literature festival going on in Fabra y Coats. Now, this is an area of the city not right in the center. It's a little bit further out, and one that not many tourists get over to. But if you're into those young adult novels or fantasy, romantasy, maybe some terror as well, this is going to be a little bit of a different festival that you can get over and take advantage of. Maybe you didn't know this, but Barcelona is a UNESCO city for literature. So there's all sorts of different book festivals throughout the year, a lot of books written in and about Barcelona. And this is one that's been set up the last several years and has had more and more success each year. Now, one of the events that's taking place this November in Barcelona that I'm specifically excited for is Luminescence. This is going to be a video mapping event and experience that's taking place over at the Santa Maria del Pi, the St. Mary of the Pine Church, which is in the Gothic Quarter just off of La Rambla. This is a 14th century church that is incredible to go to and visit anytime throughout the year. But during the month of November, they're going to have a special video mapping going on that's really just going to illuminate the entirety of the church and give you an idea of the history of the church itself and a chance to see something different. Now, I've seen that there's going to be some music accompanying it, but you've also got the option to see some live bands and things. So one of the things that I would do to get these tickets is get over to the Fever app. This is the only place where you can get those tickets, and as a Fever ambassador here in Barcelona, you can go and use my link that I'll leave in the description below for you, where you can get some discounts, not only for this event, but you've also got events throughout the entirety of Barcelona, throughout the entire month, that always are some really cool things to check out. So make sure you get over to that if you want to see something a little bit different for a limited time only. Now, this is not a Spanish or Barcelona holiday at all, but on the 27th of November, we've got Thanksgiving. And if you're traveling and still want to be able to have that Thanksgiving feast, still celebrate Thanksgiving Day, well, you can do it in Barcelona. Every year, the American Society has a big dinner that you can get online and check out where that's going to be this year. But there are a bunch of other places that you can find a fixed menu for Thanksgiving evening. Now, you've got the Hard Rock Cafe that usually has their own Thanksgiving dinner. You've got Cocoa Vale, which is an American-themed craft beer bar. That's also great if you want to get over and check out all of those NFL games. It's always my advice for anybody that's looking to catch any of those American sports, especially those games. Even if you want to go on any of the Sundays that you're in town, you've got great options over at Cocoa Vale. You just will want to make a reservation to make sure you get that table. And then apart from that, some of the other places that you can go to get that Thanksgiving dinner are some of the Irish bars. Flaherty's is one of those that always has their own Thanksgiving meal. And if you want to cook for yourself at home, it might be hard to find all of those different ingredients. But we do have an American store called Taste of America that you'll find right in the center of Barcelona, where you can find all of the ingredients that you'll need. And if Thursday the 27th is Thanksgiving, that means that the 28th is going to be Black Friday. Now, Black Friday, as it is everywhere, has just grown and grown and grown over the years to where it's not only on that Friday where you can find all sorts of different deals, but if you're in town, keep that in mind. If you're looking to get some deals on shopping while you're in the city, you've got those Black Friday discounts that are going to be all over, and it'll be more than just that one day. But one of the things that I would recommend as you're planning and as you're looking, knowing if you're going to be in Barcelona around that time, is you can a lot of times find some different discounts for tours and activities. So before making those final reservations, maybe wait and check to see if you're going to have any of those Black Friday discounts so you can get on any of those tours or activities and get around for a little bit less of a cost. The 27th, 28th, 29th, and we've got back-to-back-to-back activities. The 29th is going to bring us the Poblenou Open Night. This is something that's held every single year where a lot of the different activities and places around the Poblenou, which is a really cool area in Barcelona to get over to, well, they're open to the public. So you have options to get over there and not only see and take in those activities, but you've got different food stands around and different music and just a bunch of stuff going on. The only thing is that it is a very, very popular activity, so you're gonna see a lot of people over there. Once those programs start to come out as we get closer to the dates, I would check them out to see if there's anything that specifically calls you in so that you know that you should prioritize that over some of the other things. But just getting over there and checking out a different part of the city that has a lot of different bars, it has a lot of different restaurants, it's just a really cool area to get and see. It's one of those places that'll let you experience Barcelona in a different light. But don't have too much fun on that 29th because on the 30th, you've got the option to take part in a 5 or a 10K race. Now you've got the Jean Bouin race that's taking place the morning of the 30th. And what's crazy is this has been going on for over 100 years. This is gonna be the 102nd edition. This is something that started back in the 1920s when a group of journalists wanted to have something similar to the Grand Prix in Paris, the Grand Prix Lumière that was happening over there, and they started this race. Now it is just something that is going on every single year, gotten bigger and bigger, and you're gonna be running around Montjuic and even over to the Arc of Triumph. So keep that in mind if you're planning on going out the 29th or if you still want to run off that turkey from Thanksgiving. And while this might seem early for some of you, at the end of November is when that Christmas season really starts to get going in Barcelona. You'll start to see some of the markets set up, and more than anything, you'll start to see those Christmas lights all around. Realistically, those Christmas lights are already going to be starting to be put up, but they won't be turned on until the end of November. And we don't have the exact day yet, but in the past, it's always been that Thursday of Thanksgiving or that Black Friday where you have the first day those lights come on. And those iconic lights over at the Passeig de Gràcia that dangle down and just make the modernism in the city all the more spectacular are a big sight right in the center where you're gonna see a lot of people congregating to see them get turned on. So as it gets closer, make sure you look to see when that day is so you can join everybody in seeing the Christmas lights turn on. I'll try to make a post myself, but it always is a really fun time. One little thing, if you can't make it on that specific day, remember that the lights aren't on all day. So technically every single night, you can see them get turned back on. And if you are here during that Christmas season and not only want to know when those lights turn on, but what other activities you can do to make the most out of your time in Barcelona at Christmas, watch this video next where I break down all of those events, the traditions, and what you can take a part in.